Hey everyone, welcome to this next video in our series. I am excited for this video because we are going to be doing some hardcore programming, sort of. We're going to be doing some very conditional type of work. So if you look at the screen that I have up here, it's a pretty typical badges page. And for those who are just seeing this video, perhaps for the first time, we're designing a yoga app called Lotus Yoga using a no-code tool called Bubble. Um, what we have for these badges is conditionals that says, if a user has met this certain condition, maybe they've played 5 classes or they've played, a certain amount of time or they played everything, right? Give them, change the basically from a kind of a default photo to an actual badge. So that's what we'll be doing in this video. I am excited because it really is some uh, like programming level, like the level of thinking that you have to do in this one is is on the level of a programmer. So we're gonna get started with um, you know what? I'm going to close out some things since I have a lot of stuff running. Just building out some images that we'll be using for our badges here. But we're going to close that. Get some more RAM for the computer. Okay, so here's kind of what I wrote down um, as basically I've saved a couple of files, a couple of images, and I'll show those in a moment. But basically, I'm going to have 6 of these. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the plan for this video. So basically, if someone completes their first class, or even maybe has begun it or has started it, they get a badge. If they've completed all of the beach ones, or all of the vertical ones, or all the acro yoga or vinyasa, they'll get a badge. And then the master one will be that they completed all the classes. So basically, we are left with some options for ourselves of what is it that we want to use to say that a class is finished. So that is kind of the meat and potatoes of this video. Now, so we're using right now a video player called Video.js, which was a plugin, and what is available to us is really only what that plugin maker makes. So, and this was a free one, so it's pretty great in that aspect. But what I found is that there isn't really any way to show if it has finished or not. And how do I know this? Well, so let's jump in. Anytime that you would install a plugin, again, another reason why I'm very excited for today's video is because I'm showing off some stuff I don't think we've done before, and that is like when you first install a plugin, which we have for the Video.js. What? Let's see. Click here to add an action. Let's just make up kind of like I don't know. We're just making something up here. We'll reset some data perhaps in I don't know, the info pop-up. Okay, this is just kind of like a fake thing that we're doing. But basically I wanted to access this conditional thing. So only when, so now I'm going to search for video. So what I see here, when I search for the elements on the page, right? So we have a video. Let's look at quickly. The name of this element is video.js. Oh, sorry, that is the pose one. I was going to do this in the other one that plays the classes, but same difference. I'm only showing off the workflow portion. So basically, what I am explaining to you is that we are not able to access like some kind of conditional related to we're just not able to get much data related to that element. So I'm going to delete that. Another way, when you install like a plugin that has its own elements, every plugin has its own elements. This Video.js, you could go to the conditional, define a condition, and say something like when this Video.js is, and then like what options do I have? These are actually all pretty basic ones. I think every element could be pressed, could be visible, could be hovered. Um, and and then because we're working with this option, we can show controls, poster loop, start muted, preload, but notice nothing about like time being played. So um, we have two options here. I'm going to take the, I guess, harder road. I'm just going to get into the class preview group here. We could do an option where when this is clicked, this play button, that we just say that class has been played. Um, Now, that's certainly an acceptable way to do it for a video like this, where we're just kind of like showing ideas. However, for someone that is actually building this, you probably, and actually, I would recommend if you were building this for the first time and you just wanted to get something out there, I'd actually recommend this option where you would say, start this workflow when the play button is clicked. Um, Gosh, how is there not already? Well, that's the play button. Okay, remember this is wrapped in a group. So I'm accessing the element that is the, um, yeah, so I want this group for the workflow. So we've already got some steps here. So if we were building this, for the first time and you just wanted to get an app out there, I would kind of recommend going this route because it's quicker. You can just, we're building MVPs, minimal viable products, and that's what we're doing. But so you could say that when this play button is clicked, that this course has been played. Now, what course? The parent group has a class associated with it, so we would say, this parent group's class. That would be the video that would get played. So how would that get played? Well, um, we would tie it to the user for what courses that what classes that the user has played. So classes that user has played, ding, 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 sounds like a data type, right? So we'll want to, we would want to create that data type just like people, or we have it where people could put in favorites and they could select a bunch of different favorites and that goes into a list. We would create a list. So um, anytime someone, I guess what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the ultra hard road. I was thinking there's an easy way, there's a hard way. I'll just show the hard way. Now I'm going to show them both because um, why not? Let's go with our data. I've already got the user pulled up here. We will create a new field, and this field will be classes made. We'll type class, right? It's a yoga class, and there's multiple entries because they could play multiple classes. So this will tie this to if someone were to click this, we could say, let's see, we want to make a change to a thing, and that thing is a user. We could also, I think account make changes to user or data make changes to a thing and select a user. I believe they lead to the same spot. Make changes to current users. We want to make the change to the, oh, sorry, I don't think I named that one correctly. Classes played. Yoga. Just because I've got I'm working in an app that already has full setup for a different app because I'm on a paid plan. You might be on a free plan, and so your data will look much cleaner. But basically, these are the fields we want to be paying attention to. So back to our workflow, we want to make changes to yoga classes played, add this parent group's yoga class. So that class will get added to this list. Now it's telling me we have one issue. Go to must be the, oh yeah, it's this thing. They always want this as the last workflow for navigation. Okay, so basically, if we look back at what I have kind of just spitballed here, we could make a condition. So if what would happen if someone went to all the acro yoga classes or all the beach classes, and if they click this and they click this play button, which it won't because I haven't updated this yet. I guess why not update it? But to follow that train of thought, if we were back in that screen, I'll get us there because I think to have the visual along with the explanation is the most helpful. So the easy way would be once this button is clicked, then what happens is that this class for this Acro Yoga 1 will get added to that that particular user's yoga classes played. And so if we had clicked Acro Yoga 1, Acro Yoga 2, Acro Yoga 3, Acro Yoga 4, if we had clicked all of them, that would designate that they have all been played. And so then in our library under our badges where we're going to create another page, then you could just see how you would set a conditional on two photos, which would be one, if the uh, let's see, for the one that is acro yoga, you would say, let me try and get us some conditional stuff that we can look at. Like for example, let's pretend that this was a uh, one of those photos that's a badge, right? So we would say when the current users um, yoga 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 yoga. Do I need CCC? Okay, yoga classes played. I wasn't seeing it. When that classes plays contains um, and actually, so what we would do is we would get that particular oops. And if this is the easy route, folks, well, like I said, I am excited because we're digging into some deep stuff. This is the concepts that you'll learn in this video, I think could be valuable for a number of different uh, applications beyond just this. So I said we were dealing with Acro Yoga ones. So here's the first Acro Yoga class. Now this unique ID is it's so long and it's important because it kind of identifies the class. So I'm grabbing this because basically to finish my explanation, I would say da, 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 da. Okay, I think I need that class's unique ID. Actually, when current let me start over. When the current user's yoga class is played, okay, so I'm looking at a list. I'm trying to trying to make a comparison, a conditional. So that is a list of classes when it contains here we go. a yoga class whose unique ID that I still have copied in my thing. So if it contains a okay, evaluates to a yoga class. Yep. So yeah, this little gray thing here that says evaluates to a yoga app class, basically here's what is happening. When the current user's class played contains this class. And this class is the one with this ID. So this ID was nope. This Acro Yoga 1. This 161739. Let's remember that 161739. So this 161739, if this is found in the list of classes, then cool, great. And right, in order to current users, yoga classes played contains, do a search for the class. We're going to do this a couple times because then I think it'll make sense. Now, data, Acro Yoga 2, this one. Wow, okay. This ends with 25300, 161739, 61739. Yeah, it's kind of weird that these actually start the same, but then they end differently. I guess, the database just kind of makes it that way. But so, all right, you can, I hope, see what we're getting at here. Classes, sorry, I need to put it here. So when it's that, we'll say first item. So we can nail it down to just one item. All right. And you can see where I'm going with this. Current users, this will be the last one, but you understand that at this point, we would be doing all four of the ones. It's kind of annoying to do these one by one, but it's very acceptable. This is an acceptable solution that contains a class where that class's unique ID is equal to Yoga 3's unique ID. So, and then we'll do first item. So let's recap what we have done here. I've only got 3 of them. So I have, I don't have any properties to change when this evaluates to being true or false. And when I say evaluate, we set up a conditional, right? So the evaluation is like, is this condition met? We evaluate that. Is this t-shirt white? That's an evaluation thing. We know as humans with our brains, yes, but in the computer world. So what I want to show off here is you guys know that I did not finish it completely, right? Because I only did 3 of these, but we've got Acro Yoga 1, Acro Yoga 2, Acro Yoga 3. So if Acro Yoga 4 did not exist, and these were all the classes in the series, then this workflow that we set up to add a parent, add a class to that yoga classes played data that we created, then if we did that for this one, and we click that, I'm not going to do it because I'm not trying to create a bunch of stuff. That one and this one, actually, imagine for a second we only did it for 2. If we only had done it for 2, then this evaluator would say current yoga's classes contains search, contains the one with the ID for this one, 81950. If we look here, 81950. Oh, great. It contains that one, right? And the important thing that it's not an or, that it's an and that the current user contains this one. This ends in 25300. Acro Yoga 2, 25300. Right? So I hope it's crystallizing in your mind what is being evaluated here. So, like I had just said, if I'd only added Acro Yoga 1 and Acro Yoga 2 by hitting play, then this condition still evaluates to false. So if this, I know that this element is the play button, this is not what we're using, but if this element were a picture that is a badge, like these ones here, these hands, this symbol, like we would say, oh, not true yet. Keep showing this blue template badge. However, if we had clicked into this third one and then click this button, which meant that through this workflow step that all three of those have been added to that variable, then when this is evaluated, we would say this element is visible or not visible, depending on which element it is, right? So that is the quick and dirty way to create, when it comes to playing a video, right? Because our evaluation for a video has to do with if it is played or not. Now, we know that, does that mean that they started it or does that mean that they finished it, right? So when I had explained earlier that there are two paths and I'm going to take the harder path is when they finish it. So we are going to do that more harder path now, but first I want to remove this condition. Actually, I want to do a bunch of back button hits because I want to get to that workflow. So this is the issue where that is not there. Okay. So I'm in this workflow and that is undone. Now I'm in the data. Oh, you know what? I don't think the undo step actually undoes data. FYI. So it is. Okay. So yoga class is played. We could probably still use that for this harder way. What is this harder way I speak of? Well, it involves going out to the plugins area and looking for this one called timer. And they say, attention, this plugin hasn't been edited since mid 20, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to actually uninstall this and because I want to show off something here in the workflow tab. So in this workflow tab, I'm going to search for timer. Nothing. No actions found. Plugins. I got a gazillion plugins installed, so it kind of doesn't help me to show. But what I was trying to show is that timer thing does not exist. However, when we go to add a plugin, and then we do a search for timer, basically we're going to time the amount of time that somebody, when they go, this is a simple countdown timer. I know the air dev guys, they're pretty legit. They're out there doing their thing. I don't know about this individual, but they at least, they mark that it is not being updated. However, I don't think we need it to be updated. We just need to install it. If I go back to the workflow, what I want to show off is that now when I hit search for timer, can I install it? Oh, I think I gotta put it on the page. Timer. Okay. I think I'm gonna plop it down just as a square. It'll just exist on this page. Timer A is fine. If we go to workflows, okay, so start a timer, stop a timer, lap a timer. What I want to have happen then is when someone, that's the play button. I think I want the group. So, you can see, right? Like you can kind of get what I'm going at here. The harder way is going to be to measure it. But if you had yoga classes that were 22 minutes or 48 minutes or something like that, you could go just to 95% of that. So you could capture the amount of time that a person used and then evaluate if they completed it or not. So I'm also going to take this. I'm also going to add a new field for yoga uh, total time. And this is under the user that I'm creating this. And this is a number. And that's just going to be a tally of everything that this person has done. I have to pause this for a second and go grab something. I'll be back. Okay, back. I think where I left off was just connecting up that timer. So let's go ahead and do that. Basically, when the play button is hit, we're going to start a timer. That timer is timer A. It's our only timer. And so we'll start the timer there. And what happens in like our user flow of things? Well, the user will be taken to when they hit play. I wonder if that had some old workflow actions in it. But those actions have been deleted. All right, so all right, let me think. Basically, we can just look at this ourselves. We go to the video player. The video player is this group. What's the user doing at this point? Anything on this page, right? I noticed some other ones allow for like favorites button or some other things. Anything they're doing on this page, fine. When they leave this page, that is when we want to say element actions. Well, we want to stop the timer. There's a few things I think we want to do. Stop timer A. Now what do we want to do? We want to set the state of, well, we want to do a few things. We could add the amount of time that they've watched it to the user. That's thing number one. Thing number two is we want to see how long that was compared to the length of the video. Let's pretend it's a 20-minute video. If they reach 19 minutes, that's good enough. 95% there. So call it completed. Call what completed? I don't know. Some state, right? Something will make up. First off, make a change to the current user's yoga total time. Let's see. Oh, because it's a number. Just want to see 1 second. Do I get anything different if I say data, make a change to a thing? What thing to change? Change the current user. Now these are equivalent. Yoga total time equals watch this though. We want to set this total time as a default to 0. So anyone that signs up for our app, when their user account is created, their yoga total time will be 0. So whether it is 0 or whether it is a bunch of things, we want to take that total time, and then we want to add to it timer A's duration. However, I am unsure of what timer A duration is. So I want to check that by doing this. When they hit the video player, they go back to this group. So in this group, I just want to draw out a piece of text that looks for timer A's duration. We'll see. I'll make that bad boy a little bigger. It's hard to see. I think that should be good. Okay. That's spacing on that. Right. So let's give a little look-see. What should be happening again is we're going to do this. We're actually going to do this with the debug mode on. There's a couple ways to do it. I kind of want to see step by step. So, well, let's leave it on normal now just so we can get things loaded. We're at the home page. We're on one of these things. Okay, so let's get a step-by-step view. We're going to inspect this. I'm going to hit the play button group. What's going to happen? Da, 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 da. These are just some properties associated with this. Wait, okay, let's hit this. That's what we want. Play button is clicked. Run next. You know, I want that play button group to be clicked, but they're the same size, so I can't do anything. Okay, so I apologize. I was hoping to get a look at what's going on there. Basically, well, this is something odd because we're not even taken to, even under a normal circumstance, we're not taken to the thing. So do we have something that got broke? Got broke did? Yes. Yeah. It's not even playing. So let's take a look here. This play button, does it have a workflow associated with it? All right. Well, that's odd because we've definitely, I think even in this video, played a video. No worries. I think if I'm on the play button, I'm just going to send that to the back. but I'm also going to send this one further back. All right, whatever. We'll get it fixed. Not sure what the deal is. Just another day in the life. The debugger's great because you can see the workflow steps take place. But so I feel like what I'm going to do is when this play button is clicked, when the play button group is clicked, I'm going to copy, paste, copy, paste. Copy, paste, and then just delete all that. You don't have to delete them individually if you just kill the whole workflow step. So I'm in the play button, double checking our workflow here, setup. I'm in the play button group, checking that workflow, nada, does not exist. Cool. So let's reload. I guess I won't bother with the whole debugger thing for this. All right, if you load the page, all right. Well, that was interesting. Should always go, no. That's a dynamic value. All right, what I am blabbering on is we loaded this page without navigating to it. And so there's no state set for this parameter when you hit the back button. But that's not an issue because you'll never end up on this page. Okay. So what I expect to have happen here is, I don't know, I'm at 7, 8, so I'm at like 10 seconds. Now I hit that thing. I expect this to say 9 point, about 10 seconds. So, cool. That verifies to us that here in this class preview group, if I can click it, that verifies to us that the timer A's duration is in fact the value. Now note that it was in seconds. Yeah, we're going to have to do it. I mean, that's, I put seconds there, but let's reload this. Because I want to see what happens after. I believe that I've never used this plugin before for this timer. And I'm just going to assume that I'm going to assume that it's going to stay in seconds. So like we'll hit this. This is a 12-second loop, so if you want to fast forward for a little bit, then that could be something you might want to do. If not, I will just share with you how excited I am that my lunch arrived. That was my break earlier, and my lunch is shredded beef, rice, lots of good things. I think this has done 3 laps, maybe 4. Let's say that's the 4th one. I'll also show you. I am staying right now with some friends, and they have cats on their mugs. And it's funny, all of their mugs, when I go in there, I was like, is this just like 1 or 2? Or is this just a cat mug? And then I got it a second time, and And then I realized, oh, they have like 6 or 8 mugs with the same 2 cats. Cats are very well behaved and friendly. Okay, so I believe we should have passed a minute by now, and so I'll close out of here. And yes, 88. So right, so 88 seconds for sure. Now I will assume that there would be no reason, even if we went past an hour, for that to change the format of this. So that just means we're always dealing in seconds whenever we. So I would just mark this. This is just more of a me personal thing. Total time seconds. You know, then you know to divide by 60 or whatever to get the minutes and all those fun calculations. Cool. So I'm going to delete this. Now, um, running low on steam. Uh, like I said earlier, I made the choice to go and do both paths. We've seen the quick one. We are on the long one. Um, this is a good moment in time. If you wanted to pause this video, stand up, take a break, shake it out, get the blood flowing. Right? If you're just sitting there uh, in front of a computer, chilling, watching this video, then I can imagine you might be feeling like I'm feeling, which is like it's time to get up and do something. Okay, but so if you are back from your break, or if you are a hardcore computer person, then onward and upward we go. So, what? Let's think again about what we're trying to accomplish here. The first class thing, I guess we could say, has begun any class. This one's easy. We'll create a new data thing, and we'll get back to that other one for determining. You can see we're halfway done with that, but I kind of want to work off this list, and this list is the badges. So first class, how do we mark that? Super easy. Yoga started class. Say first class. Just put this as a yes or no. And we'll default this when the user signs up to no. And then when this play button is clicked, we will say data, change a thing. Nope, change a current user. Change their yoga start for first class to yes. Only when current users yoga start first class is no. Right? So we're doing a couple things. If they've never started a class before, then we say, hey, they started a class now. Cool. And then we also set a timer for that whatever class, that they start to start tallying up this person's amount of time that they've spent, in the app doing yoga. So that's easy. That's an easy one here. And then, we'll build that conditional into the page when we actually build the elements on the page, the badges. The badges. Beach, vertical, acro, vinyasa. How do we tackle this? Well, we need something that evaluates this duration thing that we made. It evaluates, so someone clicks a class, they stay in that class for a certain amount of period of time. Well, let's just say we only want it to count as like they've done that class if they reach 95% of it. So When they leave the class, which they do that through hitting the X button on the video player group. These things are so small. I'm just like staring at my screen, like really close. Okay. They leave their class by doing this. And so we would evaluate at this time. We would stop the timer, make changes to the user. Like they're going to get, they spent time in that class, regardless of how much time they spent. We, sorry, I'm thinking of a use case where someone could, if they started a class, if they came back later. I know I'm on two chains of thought here. I apologize. That'll be something for another day. If someone leaves a class halfway and then they come back, the duration is only going to be half of that. So our evaluator would say they didn't do it, even though they did complete it. But this is an important point that, if you were building this app for real, here I'm trying to keep it free for you guys. We're using this free plugin. I would find a plugin for 20, 30, whatever, $10, because it's worth it to be able to access the what do you call this? The progress bar in terms of seconds. It's worth it to be able to access that. However, we're learning a heck of a lot today here. So back to my train of thought on this X, where I think we were in the workflow thing. Again, I apologize for jumping around, but as you can see, part of what these classes is just I'm showing the process of the non. It's like the non-perfect way, right? Or the non-linear way. We're jumping around because I'm not coming to you saying, here's exactly how you do this. I've already figured out, here are the answers. However, that is quite helpful, if you're paying money, I suppose. But either way, to learn, this is about learning how to kind of like think through the challenges of programming. And that is a core skill here to what we're accomplishing. So back to, you guys are amazing for hanging in such a I don't know, in the weeds type of class for programming. But let's get back to our kind of story here, where the person clicks into the video, right? That timer is running, and they what we do here is when they leave it, the timer's going to stop. They're done with the video. So we stop the timer. That timer now has a duration. We add that to their total thing, separate thing than what I'm talking about here. Because now what I'm talking about is how do we compare the duration of that to the class length. So we want to take a look at our data. Interesting. For our classes, I put the length as a number. If we put the length as a text number range, date interval, well, that's not a date. That's not the right way to do it. This is just something I guess you would have to know as the creator of the app, and that's fine. That's no problem. And we're not trying to create something perfect here, right? Like I said, 95%. It could be 90% if they get it through. Count it as done. The number that we've used for our length in all of our data, if you'll notice, is it's minutes. So we would need to time these by 60. So we need to take the length, times it by 60, and then compare it to the duration, right? Hope that makes sense. So if they have completed, what do we want to have happen? We want that same thing that we had before, that the class gets added to the list of classes that the person has taken. Right. So let's make our what we want to have happen is we want the current user, we want to add this parent group's yoga class to the stuff they've played. However, if they haven't played very much of it, only when nope, sorry, let's start with that timer. Only when timer A's duration is greater than a little math. Well, I guess we'll put it at the end. The class's length times can I do this? It is a number. Okay, sweet, sweet. Now we got some math available. Times it by 60 for seconds. Times it by 95. If they've completed 95% of it, then good. So what is this saying? Evaluates to a number. Evaluates to a number. Okay. What else, my friend? Not really sure. We're there. We're just it's the length. Yeah, there is no option when we're here to do times by. Huh. Let's try this one more time. Actually, let's first try this. Do this one formatted as a number with 0 decimal places. So that's interesting. Now we lost our comparative thing. Only when is nope. So that's definitely not. Let's start over. Really, this should have worked. It's greater than the class's length. Like that works, but the length is in minutes. Boolean formatting. Formatting for yes, formatting for no. Format as a number. Try this again. Times 60 times 5. Formatted as da 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 da. All right, what's this telling me? Make changes should only okay, so that's not the one we care about. Make changes to users only when should be a yes, no, but right now it is a text. Evaluates to a number, evaluates to a yes or no. Parent group's class length. That's not true. It is a number. Why is it saying it's a text? Let's format it again. Text formatting? Oh, interesting. Why does it think... so it thinks we have a text here. Format as a number. Maybe it's this thing? Oh, this evaluates to a text with this thing. Evaluates to a number. Rounded to. Just all over the place here. Evaluates to a number. Yes, that's what we want. We want a number comparing to a number. Please. Result of step 3. What's step 3? No. All right. We're going to start over. We're going to insert an action here. And make changes to a thing. The thing is the user. The user, the class is played. We'd like to add the current class, but only if time arrays duration is greater than or equal to 60 times well, let's try duration divided by 60. Bet in the minutes. All right. Long way around. Length. Ta-da! Okay. So if this is seconds, it's going to be a ton of seconds if it's like for 20 minutes, right? So we'll just divide that by 60. It evaluates some kind of number. If it's greater than the length of the class, shoot, I want it to be greater than the length of class's length. Darn it, I want it to be greater, 90% of it. Well, you know what I can do? Instead of trying to make that one smaller, I'll add some slush to that one. Right? It can go both ways. You can compare two things, take one thing and, let's see, go 95% of it to exaggerate, or take the other thing and make it way bigger, if that makes any sense at all for those hand gestures. Okay, so we made it bigger by a little bit. And okay, it's the OA class's length. Okay, so as you can see, the actual stuff that we wrote in here is not much. However, the arriving at this point is it took a lot of thought to say it the least. And actually with that, let's see. I'm going to see if has completed all classes. How would that work from the data. So what I'm going to do, I am going to finish off just the data portion of this. And by data, I mean like the things we need to do things, right? Like the things we need to do is find out the number of seconds, and we need to add the class to this other, if the user's finished class, add it to this list, right? A list is a data thing. And then after finishing this, we'll do a separate video of creating the badges page. That'll be a quick one, right? Because we'll have all this data set up. And then it's just a matter of laying some things, down. And that's the easy part, right? And I know probably many folks out there, when you first started a class like this, the visual part is probably the part that makes the most sense. And so videos like today, pat yourself on the back because you rocked it, because you're still here listening to this. So well done. Seriously. Okay, so our last thing. Let's think about this. Beach, vertical, acro, yoga. We'll know how to, if those are in the thing. Oh yeah, and then this is the exact same. That thing, when I say when those are in the thing. This thing. We can yoga classes played. It will be a big list of stuff. And we'll just handle comparisons separately. We'll say, hey, you got all the beach ones? If so, show this badge. Hey, you got all the vinyasa ones? Show this badge. Hey, you got all of them? Then show this master badge. So with that, that will be it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for joining.